Okay, now we're to Chapter 7L, Monosodium Glutamate. Yet another way the unknowing masses have their physical and mental health compromised is through rampant use by international corporations of a neurotoxin, excitotoxin called monosodium glutamate, or MSG. MSG contributes directly to obesity, hypertension, and a host of other problems such as seizures, ADD, ADHD, heart palpitations, tremors, and many other symptoms that are harmful and even fatal. Think about this now. That handful of MSG-laden Doritos, Cheetos, or similar snack chips you are putting in your kids' lunches every day is probably the cause of their diagnosed ADD, ADHD, for which you are now giving them another poison, Ritalin, to combat symptoms while not removing the original source of the problem, the chemical-laden chips. MSG started out innocently enough, but now it is added to thousands of food products to not only make them taste better, but to get you literally addicted to them and boost the multinational corporation's bottom line. For thousands of years, kombu and other seaweeds have been added to foods in Japan to enhance flavor. In 1908, a Japanese scientist discovered that the active ingredient in kombu is glutamic acid, and from there the use of its sodium salt, monosodium glutamate, began in Japan. During the Second World War, American quartermasters came to the realization that Japanese army rations tasted great. Following the war, they introduced monosodium glutamate, the flavor-enhancing excitotoxin in the Japanese rations, to the food industry, and the worldwide use of processed free glutamic acid began to explode, much to the detriment of mankind. The multinational corporations have found that manufactured free glutamic acid, chiefly in the form of monosodium glutamate, MSG, but also found in hydrolyzed vegetable proteins, etc., when added to our processed foods, makes the blandest, cheapest, and most unhealthy foods taste wonderful. By putting MSG in as much of the processed foods as they can, it allows them to use cheaper ingredients in an increasingly competitive world. Since MSG is cheap and enhances so wonderfully the flavor of bland and tasteless foods, such as many low-fat and vegetarian foods, manufacturers are eager to go on using it and do not want the public to realize any of the inherent dangers. Not only does it make bland ingredients taste better, the MSG actually gets you high, making the food you eat that it contains addicting. Why is it so hard to eat just a few Doritos or Cheetos? They are chock full of MSG, and this is a fact. Glutamic acid is a neurotransmitter that excites more than our taste buds. It stimulates the neurons in our brain. This electrical charging of neurons is what makes foods with MSG or other substances that naturally contain MSG not only taste good but make us feel good. Unfortunately, however, the free glutamic acid can cause problems in many people, and the side effects of MSG consumption are downright dangerous. The risk to infants, children, pregnant women, the elderly, and persons with certain chronic health problems from excitotoxins are great. Even the Federation of American Societies for Experimental Biology, which usually understates problems and typically mimics the FDA party line, recently stated in a review that, quote, "It is prudent to avoid the use of dietary supplements of L-glutamic acid by pregnant women, infants, and children. The existence of evidence of potential endocrine responses, i.e. elevated cortisol and prolactin, and differential responses between males and females, would also suggest a neuroendocrine link, and that supplemental L-glutamic acid should be avoided by women of childbearing age and individuals with affective disorders," unquote. Because there was so much concern about MSG, the FDA actually commissioned a study to be conducted by FASEB. The study resulted in a 350-page report completed on July 31, 1995. The research determined that MSG consumption can result in the following side effects: elevated heart rate, extreme rise or drop in blood pressure, angina, circulatory problems, muscular swelling, joint pain or stiffness, neurological problems, depression, dizziness, disorientation, anxiety, hyperactivity in children, seizures, sciatica, migraines, gastrointestinal issues, IBS, respiratory problems, and the list goes on and on. So, why doesn't the FDA require warning labels on food with MSG in them? For the same reason that there are none on aspartame, and the same reason there is fluoride in the water, and mercury in the vaccines, etc., etc., ad nauseum. We have in the United States today a completely corrupted federal government, completely taken over by the money power generated by the Illuminati-owned Federal Reserve, and unabashedly pushing the agenda of the Great Plan. Glutamic acid, the active ingredient or component in MSG, is also hidden in ingredients under about 40 different names. These always contain MSG, just to warn you. So if you see any of these on the ingredients of a particular product, you know it contains this dangerous excitotoxin. Glutamate, monosodium glutamate, monopotassium glutamate, glutamic acid, calcium caseinate, gelatin, textured protein, hydrolyzed protein, in parentheses, any protein that is hydrolyzed, yeast extract, yeast food, autolyzed yeast, yeast nutrient. These often contain MSG or create MSG during processing, artificial flavors and flavoring, natural flavors and flavoring, natural pork flavoring, bouillon, natural beef flavoring, stock, natural chicken flavoring, broth, malt flavoring, barley malt, malt extract, seasonings, carrageenan, I can't say that, soy sauce extract, soy protein concentrate, soy protein isolate, pectin, maltodextrin, whey protein isolate, whey protein concentrate, anything protein fortified, protease enzymes, anything enzyme modified, enzymes, anything ultra pasteurized, anything fermented. So, MSG is an excitotoxin that is addicting. It literally gives your body a rush. Next time you reach for those Cheetos, Doritos, or virtually any other snack food, check the ingredients for MSG. You might see the real reason they are betting you that you can't eat just one, or once you pop, you can't stop. You literally can't. Okay, that's it for that subchapter. All these topics that we've been on so far here with this, on this chapter, mainly vaccines, fluoride, MSG here, I can't remember, aspartame. These things are we're just completely surrounded by them. It can be just devastating to, once you start trying to weed this stuff out of your diet or family's diet, it can just be really frustrating. And I would just, say that grow all of your own food that you can. I mean, really, you can't escape this stuff if it's concerning to you. And these little short chapters, I mean, relatively short as far as the topics go, are just planting seeds, trying to help others to do some deeper research, to really explore. But, you know, on the other hand, we need to always be aware that every time we do start doing a search on some of these things that are not necessarily good for us, that we'll find probably just as many searches come up on one side of the fence as the other. I mean, you've got to also kind of build your discernment to see what is complete BS and to see what's real, and go from there, because I mean, the internet has been it's been infiltrated completely, but it still is one of our only sources for real truth. All right, so we'll pick up next time with a short chapter on miscellaneous drugs, and I'll talk to you then.